With Straightsmile Solutions, straightsmilesolutions.com, let's talk about some little tricks. And I'm going to give you two scenarios here. In both scenarios, the patient is skeletal class 1. That means we take the Ceph, we run the numbers. I like to run Steiner's. I have a lot of content on reading Cephs in my Ceph playlist. If you want it, you can't find it, shoot me an email, info@straightsmilesolutions.com, and I'll send it to you for free. Or you can definitely take either our phase 1 course or our Straightwire course, which are very affordable, less than $40 to $44 per CE unit. They're available at my website, straightsmilesolutions.com. Under classes, you can see them. We do go over that in those as well. But the best way to learn is to do and to take a case and just get started. I mean, at least you're making money and you're learning something at the same time. So again, scenario is patient is skeletal class 1. That means the patient does not have a maxillary retrognathic maxilla and does not have a mandibular prognathic mandible. Bones are right relative to the cranial base. Just there is an anterior crossbite because the top teeth are just kicked back. They are retroclined. Again, you can confirm that in the Ceph. You can see the position of the incisors relative to the cranial base, relative to the maxilla, etc. Upper incisors are tipped back. They just got stuck on the lower incisors. These things happen. Not a big deal. How do we move them forward? Of course, it's much easier than Invisalign because you can totally control that, right? But let's say you're in braces, a little more tricky. So again, like I always tell people, anytime you're going to do an Invisalign or a clear aligner case, you need to go back to fundamentals that you learn in Straightwire. You will never, ever understand how to do Invisalign or clear aligners unless you understand the fundamentals of braces, airway, and phase 1. It's just all part of it. It's like learning everything backwards. So one of the tricks I like to use in a phase 1 situation that's like this is you see how there's long spans on the top. If you've gone through my phase 1 Straightwire course, my Invisalign first, or my phase 1 Straightwire course, for braces, Straightwire first, first phase, we talk about 2x4s, and then eventually we work our way up to a large wire, which is connected to the back. Initially, we're in a sectional wire that's cinched, right? Now we're in a big wire. If you still are having negative overjet in this stage, but the patient is class 1 and there's no major bolt-in, class 1 skeletal, then what you can do is you can put 2 units of compressed open coil spring. This is how open coil spring usually comes in a spool. Sometimes it's in long sticks. You need to make sure your open coil spring, this is super important, is NiTi open coil spring, not stainless steel open coil spring. The stainless steel is not going to work. The NiTi will work. So compressed open coil spring means that we measure it from here, from the distal of the 2 to the mesial of the 6 band or bracket, and we add maybe a centimeter, 10 millimeters, something like that. Add a little bit extra so that when we slide on, we actually have to compress it. That is then going to do one of 2 things. One, it's going to provide a force that pushes these out. Secondarily, it's going to provide a force that pushes the back. You might not want that. So if you don't want it to slide back, then you're going to have to cinch your molars. That is the key. Otherwise, half of it's going to go forward, half of it's going to push back. Other option is to have something in like a Nance or a TPA, which will provide anchorage if you're not going to go ahead and cinch it. So cinch or an appliance. If you don't know the difference between a cinch and an appliance, you can go into my channel, look up those keywords, cinch or TPA or Nance, and it'll explain it. If you have the anchorage, then only the front teeth will flare forward to help jump. Here's the other key. You cannot have them locked behind. It needs to be open enough so that they can flare and they're not locked at nighttime behind the lower teeth. So you need to put some bite bumps on enough to lift the occlusion, just temporarily, just for a few months while you're doing this. So 2 units of compressed coil, NiTi open coil spring, and either a cinch or in the back on the wire. That means you're going to have to heat it up, measure the coil, put the coil on both sides, feed it in, and then cinch it. And if you made it too long, you're going to have to take it out and repeat back and forth until you get it right. Or the appliance on the inside. And that's really all you do. It's really easy. It should jump no problem, assuming you did everything right. Don't forget those bite bumps, super important. If you had a comprehensive or phase 2 patient and you had braces on all the teeth and you can't do the units, then you can always still do the bite bumps, and you can do class 3 elastics in a big wire, still works. Make sure you're getting lots of torque on those top teeth, 1825 to start, then 1925, fully fill that upper slot. You can always do a round wire on the bottom too. Sometimes that helps if you're doing elastics. Lots of torque on the top and a nice square wire, round wire on the bottom, Class 3 elastics, heavy. So hopefully that helps. This should get you out of trouble, assuming you picked the right case for this trick. All right, thanks so much.